his third place qualifying position into a race win if he can. Dean Thomas is there in third place, and the man who qualified in fifth place, Glenn Richards, is hanging on then pretty well in second place at the moment on bike number 5. But Dean Thomas, well, he's the man threatening to, isn't he?
He is. I wonder, we saw him lining up at this place on the last lap. I wonder if he's going to have another go this lap, whether he can get the drive and just pop out the brakes. And yes, it looks like he's going to do exactly that. There he goes, through on the inside for the Essex.
Oh, but Glenny Richards!
Oh, that was really close there.
I'm glad you said that.
But yeah, he's got a nice drive again out, and it's a good pass. So now it'll be interesting to see whether he can just sort of reel Moody in again.
Well, if he thought Glenn Richards was a hard man to pass, he's got Jim Moody to deal with, and I wouldn't want to do it, despite the fact being a foot and a half taller. So up towards Goddard's then. It's still very, very windy here as well at the moment, and that corner out onto the back straight. Moody leads at the moment at Goddard's. Dean Thomas on the D&E Ducati, being followed by Glenn Richards. So Castrol Honda leads D&E Ducati, leads Sanyo Honda.
And look at the gap these three have really got now. They're just, I think with Kurt McCarthy and Vermeulen now, I mean, these three are looking really superior.
Now, interesting, Bernard Damon is still there in fourth place, but Warwick Nolan, the man that we saw make, not only did he have to start on his second bike at Brands Hatch, he also had a jump start penalty there as well, so not a lot of luck for him at all. Yes, it's very, very tense, isn't it? This is lap 15 of the 19-lap race, still leading Jim Moody from Dean Thomas, pointing down to the side of his bike, and Dean Thomas, I'm sure, has got a major problem coming down into Redgate Corner. There is Chris Vermeulen up to 5th place. Vermeulen has come through from absolutely right at the back. There is number 16, Kirk McCarthy. He too started right at the back, but he's up to 9th place, so good points for the Brands Hatch race winner, but Vermeulen has been nothing short of sensational.
That is incredible. I mean, really, to start from the back, if he had actually got away with the leaders and hadn't had to come in, I mean, he'd be away by now, so brilliant ride anyway, even to be up to 5th.
But it's still Jim Moody that leads, 1:38.7. That is Kirk McCarthy's fastest lap. He might be in 9th place, but he's really tramping on. The lap record here is Jim Whittam's at 1:37.5, so they're a long way off of that. That was made in May 99 last year. This is McCarthy, the fastest man out on the track at the moment, the race 1 winner from Brands Hatch.
With 4 laps to go, though, I mean, they might be circling slightly quicker, but they've just got too much to do. I mean, Moody's looking so good out front, but McCarthy digging in, he can still come up through the field.
21, it is Jim Moody leading this race now, controlling this race on the Castrol Honda, so he's going to be very, very happy indeed, as are Castrol Honda. 2nd place, Glenn Richards. 3rd place, Dean Thomas. So Dean Thomas has now indeed slipped down behind Glenn Richards. So whatever Dean Thomas's problem is, will it be terminal? The closing stages, he does not want that. He was pointing at the side of his bike, the left side of his bike, as he came past pit lane last time round, and he gets another chance to make his thoughts known to his pit in the moment. Meanwhile at Goddard's, race leader, 21, Jim Moody.
Yeah, Moody just, like you say, he's controlling it from the front. He's not going to do anything silly now. He's got plenty of experience. He's just going to try and run that. But Richards, you can see the aggression. I mean, he hasn't given up. He's going to have a go.
Still it's Bernard Damon there in 4th place. Vermeulen up to 5th place in front of Warwick Nolan now, who slipped back to 6th. But Bernard Damon, really, the Belgian, giving us a good performance as well. It's a very, considering it's a British Championship race, it's very international, isn't it? We've got Aussies, Belgians, and more Aussies.
Yeah, plenty of them, but that's great. I mean, it raises the racing for everyone. It just shows what a brilliant domestic scene we have in England.
Well, I mean, it's a brilliant domestic scene, and up the inside, Vermeulen, no, yes, he made. Well, Bernard Damon almost gave him the room there, didn't he, really? It was very polite of him.
I don't think he had a choice. I think he had the line. It was basically just pushed him wide, really subtly.
So, as they weave their way round, to McLean's up to 4th place now. Can he get 3rd? Can he make a podium? Chris Vermeulen, well, Barry Sheen's been banging on about him for a few months now. And, of course, Barry Sheen has discovered most of the young talent that's come out of Australia, he says. But this one really is genuinely a Barry Sheen discovery.
I mean, I think, the way he's going, maybe he can get 3rd. I mean, we'll really wait and see. It'll be an interesting couple of laps for him.
Well, he's got clean air in front of him now, so it's a case of putting lap on lap. The thing that really, well, it doesn't surprise me, but I'm impressed with, is he doesn't look out of order anywhere, does he? No. It looks like he's right on it.
Yeah, no, he looks really nice. And I mean, I think they got the bike working well as well, because it looks well behaved.
Oh!
I said that just at the wrong time, as he gets it completely sideways on the brakes, but that's just a bit of young over-enthusiasm enthusiasm.
So what's Chris Walker's excuse?
Old over enthusiasm?
Something like
Medium over enthusiasm?
He's obviously been watching a bit of Chris Walker. So Vermeulen in 4th place and determined, I'm sure, to make it onto the podium. I was about to go banging on about Mick Grant, team manager. Of course, it's the Sanyo Honda team that Vermeulen rides for, as does Richards. And McCarthy's up to 7th. So McCarthy, well, both these Australians, you've got a bit of young and experience there, haven't you? You've got Vermeulen, who's a brand new boy. You've got Kurt McCarthy, who's been there and pretty much done that as well, and riding very, very good over here in England. But Vermeulen, well, it's a brand new name to all of us this year. With 2 laps to go, can Vermeulen make it onto the podium? That's what everybody's looking for.
That would be an incredible feat if he could, but we'll have to wait and see.
What's all that about? He's wringing its neck.
He's just digging in, you know. The tyres have gone now as well, so he's just really riding the thing very hard.
Of course, treaded tyres, just to remind you, this is a super sports race. They're not on slick tyres.
I mean, you've also got to wonder with Dean Thomas, I mean, what sort of problem he's got. It looked like an engine problem with it pointing down, and if his bike is starting to slow, then Vermeulen could certainly have him. And even if it isn't, it looks like the way he's riding, he might anyway.
Well, you can tell by the way we're keeping with him. This is the man of the moment. Jimmy Moody leads this race, of course. There is Dean Thomas. That is the 3rd place man. Vermeulen's 2.9 seconds behind, but he's only got a lap and a bit to do it in if he's going to catch him. So it's more a question of not how fast Vermeulen is going, but how much Dean Thomas is slowing up.
I mean, he still seems to be going all right, Dean Thomas, so you just wonder whether, you know, with the Ducati, he's just dropping it down, maybe short-shifting it slightly, but the Ducati's the one motorcycle where you can get away with that. It's got plenty of torque, and, you know, he should just be able to hold it on the finish if it's not, performance-wise, dropping off rapidly.
Jim Moody still leads this race from Glenn Richards then, and they will have started their last lap just about already. There he goes, Moody over the line, Glenn Richards on bike number 5. He is in 2nd place, and it's 16 Thomas being chased hard by number 2. That's Chris Vermeulen, the youngster that we've been following throughout this race. He started from the absolute dead last position, and here comes Kurt McCarthy, who's starting with him behind Werner Damon. So Werner Damon, the Belgian, is about to be dumped up by number 16, who's in 6th place now, Kurt McCarthy. Well, McCarthy might have been slightly overshadowed by Vermeulen, but I have the feeling that if McCarthy had actually decided to go for it right from the first couple of laps where they went under green. Oh, dear me.
Nice move, the old hairpin.
Warwick Nowland is there as well on bike 25, so you're right, that was a nice move. My point being, do you think that Kurt might have been a bit slack in the early restart couple of laps? I bet he wishes he hadn't been there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, perhaps he thought he had a problem with his bike as well. And there you go.
Nowland go, Warwick Nowland then stuffing it under Werner Damon. So Werner Damon on the last lap, which we are on. Werner Damon has lost a couple of places. He'll be sick about that. Back marker coming into view now is Andrew Jackson from Preston. Short shrift he's going to get from Kurt McCarthy, that's for sure. Everybody moving on. Vermeulen is right there with Dean Thomas as well. He goes through. We're looking back at Kurt McCarthy as they come under Dunlop Bridge. There is Vermeulen going through right on the heels. He's just got 2 more corners left to try and grab that podium place. I'll tell you what, Vermeulen really must want this to last another lap. Yeah. And he's not got enough time to do it now, I don't think. James!
You just see him. He uses the back brake a lot there. And just trying to pull that bit of time in, but it's going to be too much. Dean Thomas has taken a nice look. He knows he's there. He'll run a slightly tight line just to defend it as he's doing now.
Oh, I tell you what, the young kid though, look, he was lining himself up and trying to make a draft over here.
Look at Moody.
Jim Moody then celebrates the race win. It was a good win for him. Glenn Richards in 2nd place. 3rd was Dean Thomas, just from the man of the moment, the young man of the moment, Chris Vermeulen. One man that's really going to enjoy watching this videotape will be, of course, Jim Moody. Jim Moody really will be very happy with Chris Vermeulen, because Vermeulen has been the man of the race if Jim Moody isn't. Richards then in 2nd place. Well, I dare say Chris Vermeulen might be asking him, what were you pointing at that made me come down pit lane?
That's right.
A bit of gamesmanship within the team there. We'll have to wait and find that out. But no doubt about the winner. It was, of course, the Glaswegian Jim Moody on the Castrol Honda. And he's pretty happy with that. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great ride from Jim, but you can't help feeling that without the pace car, that might have been a completely different race.
You old cynic. Jim Moody will take 25 points however they come. Glenn Richards in 2nd place, Dean Thomas 3rd, then the man of the race for me anyway, Chris Vermeulen in 4th, Kurt McCarthy 5th, Werner Damon, the Belgian, there in 6th place, Howard Whitby 7th, and Warwick Nowland in 8th place. That's race 2 in the series, and this is how the championship stands after those 2 races. Jim Moody has a 5-point lead over his teammate Kurt McCarthy. The Castrol Honda's taking the 2 wins of the season so far. Howard Whitby in 3rd place, Dean Thomas 4th, Glenn Richards in 5th place in front of his teammate Chris Vermeulen on the Sanyo Honda bikes. Then it's Morley and Wickens rounding out the top 8. Well, after round 2, Claire and I managed to grab the men that mattered. Well done, mate. You're under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the pressure was never off right to the end, you know.